Meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Again, good morning and welcome. Consideration of agenda items. Is there any additions or corrections?
Mr. Chair, I have none this morning. Thank you.
I move to approve the agenda.
Motion by Commissioner Kruger. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Pohlmeyer. Any discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Consent agenda.
Move to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Wright to approve the consent agenda. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Kruger. Any discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Payment of the bills.
Mr. Chairman, I move the payment of the bills.
Motion by Commissioner Szymanski. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Kruger. Payment of the bills in the amount of $199,057.87. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right. Mr. Sandberg from Washington County has a presentation for us. Good morning. And just so you know, the mics are pretty finicky. You got to be pretty direct at them.
All right. Well, good morning, Mr. Chair and members of the board. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you today. My name is, as was stated, Wayne Sandberg. I serve as the county engineer for Washington County. That's on the East Metro on the border with Wisconsin. But I also serve as the president of the Minnesota County Engineers Association this year. As you know, the County Engineers Association is affiliated with the Association of Minnesota Counties, and we represent all 87 county engineers in the state of Minnesota, or 87 counties who have engineers. There's, I think, 85 engineers. A couple of them do double duty. But the Minnesota County Engineers Association is also associated with the National Association of County Engineers, or NACE. And before I continue, I do want to recognize a couple other people in the room today, too. Sue Miller with Freeborn County is here, as well as Phil, who's with Meeker County now. I'll get to Kelly and John in a minute. But the National Association of County Engineers is a nonprofit, nonpartisan professional organization. We've been around for over 70 years. We represent nearly 2,000 engineering professionals, both in the United States and in Canada. So NACE truly is an international organization. And our goals are to advance county engineering, influence legislation, foster growth of our profession, and build a network of informed engineering professionals across North America. In April, about a month ago, NACE held our annual conference. At this conference, NACE presents awards to engineers who represent the very best, the pinnacle of our profession. And one such engineer is in the room today. I'm pleased to share with you that McLeod County Engineer and Public Works Director John Bronkhorst was recognized as the National Rural Engineer of the Year. Now, this award recognizes technical excellence in our profession, and also it recognizes involvement in NACE and other professional organizations, as well as involvement in local and civic organizations. This award is truly a reflection of a well-rounded engineer, a mentor, and a community leader. John has served McLeod County, as you know, since 2001, and prior to that he worked for Renville County and also the North Dakota Department of Transportation. John is a leader in our profession in Minnesota, having been recognized in 2005 by the Minnesota Transportation Alliance with their Transportation Advocacy Award. In 2014, John served in the role that I have now, the president of our County Engineers Association, after serving 4 years on our board of directors. And in 2015, our state organization recognized John as the Minnesota Engineer of the Year. In addition, John has served on numerous committees over the years, both here in Minnesota and nationally. John is also active in his community as a member of the McLeod County Safe Roadways Coalition. He also serves on the executive board of the McLeod County Ag Association, the Fair Board. And John lives in Hutchinson with his wife Kelly, and they're raising 3 wonderful children, Marissa, Aubrey, and Carter. Now, I've known John for over 15 years, both professionally and personally, as a colleague and a personal friend. I can tell you that there is nobody in our organization who is more deserving of this recognition. John is truly a mentor and a leader in our organization and in our state and in our profession. And that's why it's really an honor and a privilege for me to be able to stand before you and introduce the 2019 National Association of County Engineers Rural Engineer of the Year, John Brunkhorst. And I'd ask John to come forward, please.
John, before we make you take a picture with us, and whoever else you want to, anything you'd like to say?
Yeah, well, I'm thankful for these guys to come out today and present this award. It must be pretty pressing items on their agenda to get them away from the board meeting on Tuesday, so I appreciate them coming out. What I said on April 17th when I got the award, Minnesota County Engineers Association has been a great organization. It's done a lot of good things for counties as well as AMC and so forth, as you all know. But I also said that I've been appreciative of the board over the years. You guys have always supported staff and my involvement and others around the county in organizations statewide and nationally. And I think that's important to be involved, and I really appreciate you guys letting me participate to go through the officer roles at MCA and then participate on some of the past National Association County Engineer items I've done. So thank you, and it's a great honor. It's kind of like, I don't climb mountains, but this is certainly Mount Everest in the county engineering world, in my opinion, and it's very humbling. Thank you.
Congratulations, John. All right, if the board could just step over there, we'll do a couple pictures, and then John can.
Well, that's how I feel. I'm shrinking. So.
All right, we'll move on with the agenda. Again, congratulations, John. Item number 6, Environmental Services, Mr. Teletsky. Good morning.
Good morning. 2 quick items this morning on the agenda. Item A is to consider approval of McLeod County's 2018 Annual Feedlot Performance Report. Michelle Oy, County Feedlot Program Development Lead for MPCA, Minnesota Pollution Control Agency, as well as Sarah Isabren, Pollution Control Specialist. Feedlot section, both at MPCA, reviewed and recommended approval on February 19th, 2019. Dean Liebfried, Environmental Specialist 2, Feedlot Division at MPCA, reviewed and approved on March 12th, 2019. In the packet, and I just want to read a letter that was sent to us by Dana. Dana is our field staff, so she's the one that does the review with us. And Jake McLeod was our lead on filling out this report this year. On February 14th, 2019, the MPCA completed a year-end review of the McLeod County Delegated Feedlot Program for the period of January 1, 2018 through December 31st, 2018. Based upon the review, the MPCA has determined that the county satisfactorily met 16 out of the applicable 16 non-inspection minimum program requirements, MPRs for short. The county also satisfactorily conducted 27 inspections of the 329 feedlots required to be registered for an inspection rate of 8.2%. In addition, the MPCA has reviewed and approved the county's January 1, 2018 through December 31st, 2019 delegation agreement and work plan. No modifications to the delegation agreement and work plan have been proposed at this time. The MPCA recommends the county for its work in 2018. If you have any questions regarding this review, please do not hesitate to contact me, Dana Leifried. So with that, I look for a motion to approve.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the feedlot report.
Motion by Commissioner Szymanski. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Wright. Any discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Item B is to consider approval of the proposed resolution 19-CB-28 supporting a Lower Minnesota River West Watershed, One Plan project. Resolution will allow Environmental Services to submit a planning grant request for approval for Lower Minnesota River West. The application deadline to submit is June 6, 2019. So when they refer to the Environmental Services, that is Sibley County and Sibley County SWCD. They are taking the lead on this project. They've asked for us as a willing partner to participate in this One Watershed, One Plan. The Soil and Water Office for McLeod County has adopted this resolution at their last board meeting. And they are asking for us to participate as a willing partner.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
this should include Baker's Lake, right?
That is
So
High
that's
Island
going to be,
Watershed.
hopefully that's going to be helpful to that. So with that, I move to approve Resolution 19CB-28.
Motion by Commissioner Kruger. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Wright. Any discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
All right. The Sheriff's Office. Kevin.
Morning.
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 Here before you to seek approval to apply for federal assistance under the emergency, what is that again? Got so much paperwork here. Emergency Watershed Protection Program. Before we get to that, I just kind of want to let you know with our disaster here in McLeod County and the state of Minnesota as a whole, we end up having 49 counties of our 87 that were impacted by the spring melt and flooding and severe storms. That also included 3 tribal nations. The FEMA and the state did a preliminary damage assessment across the state. They estimated that they have $39.2 million in state disasters in all of the counties, and that included $356,234 of damages here in McLeod County, which far exceeds our federal threshold that we needed. So the governor now has till, was it May 29th to submit to the President of the United States for federal assistance. So it looks at this point that we are going to be considered a disaster area, which is going to allow programs to assist us. So what that basically means is the federal government will pay 75% of those eligible costs, and the state will pick up the remaining 25%. So that's pretty good math when we look at locals and our budgets and stuff. So one thing that's really different this year is the eligibility of frost boils. In past history, frost boils were never included because it happens every single year. But with this disastrous winter that we had, and we don't even want to think about how bad that was, we're going to kind of move forward into summer again. But what we're looking for is to make those eligible. So we're working very closely with our townships and cities and stuff with those types of damages as well. So with the recommendation of the state, we ended up looking at some different programs, and they recommended some different programs to us. So one of the programs that we talked about is that Emergency Watershed Protection Program for our county ditch system. In our county ditches, we estimated we had about $149,000 in damages that we know of at that point. Now, there's probably more subject to come in future, but I've worked with Ryan Freitag, Soil Water Conservation District, and Connie Kurtzweg, Auditor Treasurer, and we officially kind of request federal assistance under the provisions for the Emergency Watershed Protection Program. So,
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I was able to attend the meeting you guys had with FEMA, and I was out myself, looking at some pictures and looking at ditches. The ditches are bad. I mean, they're in really bad shape, so I appreciate your guys' work in getting this done, and I would move to approve to submitting the request.
Motion by Commissioner Kruger. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Szymanski. Any discussion?
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Kevin, you mentioned the townships will get assistance with the repair of frost boils in the roads and so forth. Ballpark, do we have a number across the county what frost boils may,
For the frost boils,
expenses will be?
yeah, for the frost boils, I don't have an estimated damage right now. A lot of the townships weren't able to make that meeting that we had with state and FEMA, so a lot of those frost boil numbers were not included. But right now in our roads and bridges, we have about $182,000 of damages, and that includes just regular culverts, washouts, and roads there. So with the frost boils, I would increase that number. I think that would increase pretty substantially.
Substantially, yeah. I've had discussion with my townships, and they all said the frost boils are just terrible this year. This fellow behind has a question. So.
All right. Anything else, Ron?
No.
Mr. Chair, I do have, I think that 149 was a conservative figure, and that was a question I was going to ask you. Are there some of the stuff that hasn't been found yet, is that going to be able to get included if it's documented? We're not locked in now with what we've already presented, right?
No, this is a preliminary damage assessment numbers. So that, of course, is subject to change. So the eligible damages have to happen between March 12th and April 29th. And if we find more damages, yes, those will be included. So.
And again, I thank our staff that they had a lot of good documentation to present. I mean, and I've seen some of this before when you can't prove when the damages were done, and I think you guys did a good job of getting that out there, so thanks.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
Mr. Dahl, you have a question? Okay, you have to come to the microphone then, please.
Tom Dahl, Coma Township, in support of Kevin Matthews and Ryan Freitag. We did not attend that meeting, and the reason we did not is we had made an original assessment of about $1,000 to the stuff, excluding frost boils. We've since went out and did all our research. We were out till late on Sunday, and I know we're not farmers, but we were there. So that original $1,000 is now turned into $85,750. So I wanted you guys to be aware of that. And we do have supporting document. We've GPSed everything, all the locations. We've taken pictures of all the locations. We have roughly a half mile of road bed that's out. It's been out for a long time. We reported it up to the 911 emergency not to drive a tanker full of water down that road because we don't think the road will support a tanker full of water. So just information for you.
All right, thank you. All right. All right, we have a motion on the table. Any further discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Anything else, Kevin? No. All right, thank you. All right, County Attorney's Office.
This may not be a surprise to you, but somebody is departing us the end of next week. And we need to do something about replacing that person until a permanent replacement is hired. So what your options are is you could appoint one person to oversee the entire office. You could split it into two and appoint two, one in charge of budget and finance, and the other would be in charge of HR and the other administrative functions. Or you could split it into three, one be in charge of budget and finance, one in charge of facilities, and one in charge of HR and other administrative functions. The pros and cons of having one is that the pro is that there's one person to turn to. The con is that's a lot of burden for one person. And the more you split it up, the less clear the lines of authority are, but the less of a burden. So whatever you do, you ought to adjust the wages of whoever gets appointed to whatever roles.
All right.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
So as the chair, I've had some meetings with Mr. Young regarding this, so I will offer a motion to appoint Sheila Murphy, interim McLeod County Administrator, commencing on May 29th, 2019, and continuing until the new county administrator is in the position. The interim appointment shall include a $300 per month increase in rate of pay each month. Is there a second?
I'd second that, Mr. Chair.
Second by Commissioner Kruger. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we will proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Can you talk about the selection process a little bit?
The application has opened. The applications remain open until the 17th of June. I think I have that date right. It's my birthday, so.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. So what we have to do then is to assemble a committee to review those applications and winnow the candidates down to 3 or 4, which would then be finalists for this board to interview and consider and make their final selection. And I anticipate the process would take until late summer to early fall.
All right, again, in meeting with that, I have a recommendation to offer in the form of a motion. So I move the following individuals be on the McLeod County Administrator Candidate Screening Committee. Be Board Chair Joseph Nagel, Board Vice Chair Doug Kruger, County Attorney Mike Young, Public Health Supervisor Lori, help me.
Nagaski.
Thank you. And McLeod County Chief Deputy Tim Langenfeld. The committee shall be charged with the task of reviewing the applicants for the McLeod County Administrator position, conducting preliminary interviews to reduce the number of candidates to 3 or 4, which shall then be presented to the entire McLeod County Board of Commissioners for their review and interview. Is there a second?
I'll second.
A second by Commissioner Pohlmeyer. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Anything else, Mike?
Nothing. Thank you.
All right. On to County Administration, review of our calendars. Rich?
Okay. Since the last board meeting, we had the workshop and then was able to get to the Cinco de Mayo appreciation for county employees that day. On the 8th, I attended the Pack for Families Collaborative meeting. And I guess resolved a couple phone calls on who's supposed to be doing what on a couple items. And then I was able to spend 5 days down in St. Kitts with my wife on her company trip. So I just got back yesterday, so that brings me up to right now.
Okay, in brief, I've completed our board workshop the last time we met. I also had a meeting with our GIS committee. Fair Commission got together, talked about the long-range planning, and we will have a workshop item on that the next time we meet. First meeting in June, I believe, is when that'll be scheduled. And also went through the summer repair projects and upcoming events. MRF update, and we'll be covering some of that at our workshop today. Last night attended the Fair Board meeting. Everybody getting ready with their different committee assignments to get ready for yet another fantastic McLeod County Fair. And dealing with some of the phone calls of the damages to our drainage systems out there, which was covered with the FEMA issue earlier. And you know, there's plenty of state evidence out there that we do have rainfall events are getting more frequent. It's getting wetter, and it causes a lot of damage and a lot of dollars to fix all that, and it's just something that we have to deal with.
All right. I have a light report. I was away from the boardroom last meeting because of some commitments with my sergeant's position in Hutchinson. So thank you to all those that picked up the slack. Doug, thank you for running the meeting. I appreciate it. The only thing that I will go into detail with is yesterday Ron and I had a negotiations meeting regarding union contracts, which they are all open or will be open, and we are beginning negotiations with the MNP unit. And I wanted to thank them for a very productive and cordial discussion, and I look forward to working with them to reach an agreement very shortly. So.
All right. Well, thank you, Mr. Chair. Since our last board meeting, we followed the board meeting with a workshop, and then on the 9th of May, we had the Meeker McLeod Sibley Community Health Board Joint Powers Board meeting, and discussing how we move forward, discussing the replacement of the administrative position and how we will continue to function and keep things rolling with the joint group of Meeker McLeod and Sibley County Public Health. On Wednesday, May 15th, I had the McLeod Treatment Program monthly meeting, heard our financial reports. We're holding our own in the program, and you know, they're sustaining, but they could always use more clients in their service. And as Joe mentioned yesterday, we met with the Minnesota Public Employee Association to negotiate next year's union contracts. It's an opening meeting. You know, nothing is decided. We're just listening to each other at this point. Last night I attended the Silver Lake City Council meeting, and we discussed the county property and recycling in the Silver Lake area. That's all I have, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, since the last meeting, I had a meeting with a representative from the Legacy grant discussing our trails and some of our options on how and how to proceed on our applying for a grant for the Dakota Trail. I also attended the Glencoe Planning and Zoning meeting just to check on our rezoning on our new government center. That all went well. We had an emergency or kind of a special meeting with the HRA. We passed a resolution. There's a federal program that helps people that are working to be closer to their jobs with our HRA homes. I forgot to bring the resolution along with me, but that's what it's in order. It's quite a competitive grant. There's a number of people that are going to apply for it, but it helps with people with rent that are trying to better themselves with a job and able to live closer to their work. I commented before. I also attended on the 10th the FEMA presentation here at the old Commissioner's Room. I also went out on the road and looked at some of the ditches, talked with Ryan and Adam. It's quite significant, to say the least, the sloughing that's out there, and obviously it's because the changes in the weather patterns, and if they stay like this, you know, we're going to have our work cut out for us on how to keep this from happening again. But it's significant. If you go out and look, there's long stretches of sloughings. So I really appreciate that the work the guys are doing to get some help. On the 14th, we had a department head meeting, and that afternoon I attended the Glencoe Transportation Study here at the City Center. It included, they're whittling down the options of how to really, it boils down to how 22 goes through or around Glencoe, and they're getting down to pretty much four different options, and they're getting data and input on how and what people think would be the best route for 22 to either go through or around Glencoe. Actually, that really brings me, yesterday I met with Seneca, John and I just done some options on looking at some land around Glencoe and how it's going to be developed. So that brings us up today. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
All right. Cindy, anything to add?
No, but I would like to just take a moment to thank the county board for allowing me to be the county administrator for this last year. I very much appreciate it. It was a role that was very interesting. So I thank you for allowing me to serve in that role. In addition, I'd like to thank the public for allowing me to serve as their county auditor and then county auditor treasurer over the last 25 years. So I appreciate that as well. And I've gained a lot of friendships. I'm going to start crying, I'm sorry. I've gained a lot of friendships over the 26 years as in many associations throughout the state, and I appreciate them as well. So thank you. This is my last board meeting.
All right, Cindy, in honor of your last board meeting, it's always kind of a hard way to do this, but McLeod County Board recognizes Cindy Ford for over 36 years of dedicated service. And if you've been in a cave, you would you'd realize that she's going to retire May 29th. So you have about a week to go, but this is your last board meeting. Yes. So thank you for all you've done.
Thank you.
So I will wrap this up, and then we'll, you have to take one more picture with the board,
Okay.
all right? So, under administration notifications, the McLeod County Board will have a workshop to be held on the 24th of May 2019 at the Hutchinson High School in regards to learning more about the school's Tiger Path program. Item B is notification of the McLeod County Workshop to be held June 4th following the McLeod County Board meeting at the Glencoe City Center. We are to our open forum. Anyone wish to address the board? Any press relations? Hearing none, look for a motion to recess till our next board meeting, June 4th, 2019 at 9 a.m. at the Glencoe City Center.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Pohlmeyer, second by Commissioner Szymanski. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.